Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. I hope you all had a great holiday, great Christmas break. We're approaching the new year, and with the new year is coming something that's very popular amongst most people on the planet, especially if we're trying to stay fit, and that is a New Year's resolution that many of you are aware of, and that is the number one resolution is to lose weight, to get back in the gym, to get fit. So I'm so excited for our special guest that we have for you tonight. Oh my goodness. We're going to introduce him in just a few moments. The Mind Body Business Show. What is that all about? Well, the thing is, in my 54 years on this earth, I have noticed patterns developing specifically of successful people. I've made it a point to surround myself with successful entrepreneurs and business people, especially later in the years of my life. And I noticed from these people, I kept wondering, how are they so successful? What makes them unique? What makes them successful, more successful than others? And I started realizing that they had these habits, these patterns that were consistent between each and every successful individual. And one was mind, in other words, mindset. They had learned and mastered the art of a positive, empowering mindset. And we're not talking all just conscious, on the conscious level per se. Yeah, it's great to stand in front of a mirror and read affirmations. Many of us have heard about how to do that, and we do that. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing is, it's not permanent. It's at the conscious level. And if we could tap into our subconscious and reprogram our brain for lasting success, then wouldn't that be amazing? Well, the cool thing is, it is absolutely possible through a wonderful science called neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short. And then there is the body. The body, what does that have to do with being successful? Well, I'll tell you. It has to do with staying in peak shape in your body, physically, being physically fit. Our guest expert tonight is going to really help us learn this at a deeper level. It's not just exercising, though. It's also what you put into your body, the fuel, the nutrition, the nutrition, the clean eating. And so the two go together. You need to eat clean and you need to exercise on a regular basis. And so the mind and body, I like to say, are a team. And more importantly, the mind and body are your team. And then there's business. Business, there are major areas of business that you should strive to master if you want to be like these successful entrepreneurs I've talked about. And all you have to do is simply model, which means copy, what they are doing. And that's in the prime areas of sales, marketing, scaling, otherwise known as team building. And once you are able to get to a point of mastering all 3 of these areas, the mind, the body, and the business, it is at that moment that I say you are working at a peak level of performance, operating at a peak level of performance. And the goal is, look, I get it. Very few people have mastered all 3. And the thing is, which one of those 3, or maybe 2, should you now concentrate on? Maybe you haven't really concentrated on your body as much in this past year as perhaps you should have. Maybe you have not done any work in the mindset arena, or maybe you just haven't put in enough time in learning the proper skills that come along with running a business. Whatever the case may be, pick one, concentrate on it, and start toward the path of mastering it, and then get to the point where you master all 3. Then you will have patterned after those who are successful, and by that point, you yourself will also be successful. It's like a guarantee. It's amazing. All you have to do is model success. That's the beautiful thing about this show. I bring on entrepreneurs, guest experts that cover 1, sometimes 2, sometimes all 3 of these areas, and each and every guest expert that comes on my show is a successful entrepreneur. So you can guess that they have all 3 of them pretty well going right now. And on that note of mindset, you see behind me a nice shelf of books. And many years ago, I had the opportunity of meeting with a multimillionaire CEO of a company. He actually invited me, flew me out. We were working on a deal. That's another story for another day. I was in his office for 2 solid days. 2 solid days. Flew me out, put me up in a hotel, picked me up in a limo, the whole 9 yards. It was amazing. And I'll never forget this one moment where I'm sitting on his couch in his office, and he looks at me and he goes, Brian, if people only knew, if they only knew, if they just did this one thing, if they just did this one thing, they would all be super rich. And then he paused for a moment. I'm thinking, okay, I'm ready. Tell me what it is. And so what he did at that moment is he turned away from me, went toward the wall directly in front of me, behind him, and there was this large floor-to-ceiling cabinet, two-door cabinet, and he grabbed both handles in the center and pulled it open to reveal something very similar to what you see behind me, and that was just shelf after shelf after shelf of books. And what he said is, people, all they have to do is read. And he wasn't saying go read fiction to get to that point of success. And by the way, it's okay if you read fiction to relax. But the point here is his point was to read personal development, business books, anything that would help you in these three areas of mind, body, business. That's all. That was the key. And I thought, are you kidding me? Just read books? That's it? That's the secret? That can't be. I mean, books aren't that expensive. I won't have that much skin in the game. I could go get them at the library for free if I wanted to. So I did the thing any smart guy would do, because I thought I was smart, and I ignored him. And that was the biggest mistake I had ever made up to that point. I ignored that advice. And thankfully, years later, I met another individual who then became my mentor, worked with him for several years, side by side. And one day I saw him walking around in headphones. And I thought, hey man, what are you doing? He goes, I'm listening to a book right now. I said, wait, what? You're listening to a book? That's a thing? And he said, oh yeah, you can do this on Audible. I said, you're kidding me. Because up to that point, I probably had not read a single book since the time I met that gentleman years prior. Crazy, right? And so part of the reason is when I read a book physically with my eyes, I get tired. I honestly get tired. I get fatigued, and it's not pleasurable for me to sit with a book in front of me to read. Never was. And I said, I'm going to try this. And you can probably guess what happened was I put on the headphones, I listened to a book, and I said, this is awesome. And I began reading, quote unquote, voraciously, book after book after book, all in personal development, business, team building, scaling, you name it. And as a beautiful thing you can do while you're listening to Audible, a book on Audible, is they give you the ability to just tap the screen and store a bookmark right at that moment that you have found something of interest. And the beautiful thing with that is now I don't have to go back and reread entire books like many do. I can just go back and hit all the bookmarks, listen to those, and go, okay, I'm good. I don't have to reread an entire book. So what I wanted to do, the point of all that is I wanted to share with you right now a segment that I appropriately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there it is. You see, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a website to my left, your right, if you're viewing this live or recorded right now. And by the way, for those of you watching live right now, please do me a favor and just take notes. That is, take out a notepad, get a pen or a pencil, and take notes. Instead of going off and looking at different resources that we will be making available to you during the show, write down the URL, the website addresses, and do the research and searching on those later, because you do not want to miss one moment of our special guest expert, who I promise is coming up very, very soon. Promise. This is Reach Your Peak Library. The reason I put this website together truly, honestly, was for you, my fellow entrepreneurs and business associates. Whether I know you or not, I want you to have this gift, and that is a collection of books that I personally have read, and I vet them. I have vetted them. They are books that have had a positive effect on me, either personally or business-wise or financially. I've read more than are on this list, in other words. So if it's not on here, that means it didn't make the grade. What that means for you is it saves you time. If you have not been reading voraciously, or if you just want to compare and say, hey, what other books are there? Maybe I haven't read a couple of those. You could jump in here and have some degree of certainty that it's going to be a high quality read and it won't waste your time. That's the reason I put this together. It's all about efficiency, working smarter and harder, but we'll say not harder at the moment. I learned a new one recently, and harder. That was fun. All right, so what we're going to do is actually take one of those books that I have read and play a soundbite for you. It's about a minute in length, and this is from a book called Own the Day, Own Your Life by a gentleman named Aubrey Marcus. He's the founder and CEO of a company called On It, which is a fitness supplement company, which is why I felt it was so appropriate for tonight's show, as you will find out why in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is play that snippet, about a minute in length, get out that notepad and paper, get ready to take notes, and then we'll come back and get on with our special guest expert. So go ahead, listen intently and take notes, and we'll be right back.
What sets guys like Gary Vee apart from the rest of us, though, is that he enjoys his work. He doesn't just embrace the grind, he relishes it. He's working towards something, and that something matters to him. That is why he is such a colossal force. That's also how I've been able to grow On It at an average of 40% a year since 2012. When people come visit the office, you know what they say? It's not, "Man, Aubrey, your employees are working so hard." It's, "Man, your employees are so happy." And happiness is a magnet for success. Happy people do better work and draw other happy people to them. I never have to beg people to stay late to finish a project or volunteer to work a trade show, because I am constantly supporting their personal journeys of self-optimization, financially, physically, and emotionally. And it's not just my company.
And we'll stop it right there. The beautiful thing about that, and the reason that really caught my ear, so to speak, at the time was, this is a guy that's talking about loving what you do. And the reason I picked this bookmark is because our guest expert, Stephen Hercy, is coming on in just a moment, loves, absolutely cherishes what he does, and it's infectious. The passion that comes through, you will see it in just a moment. It grabbed me personally. And I have the absolute honor of working with him recently. So I can't wait to bring him on. Instead of waiting any longer, I think maybe now would be a good time to do just that. What do you say? Let's bring him on.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Hercy, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. We have many, many things to describe this amazing individual. Stephen, how are you doing tonight? Thanks for coming on, my friend.
Just feeling on top of the world. I'm being interviewed by the best. What can I tell you?
Oh, those brownie points will get you far, my friend. Thank you so much. Hey, real quick, I'm going to give you a quick introduction through the bio that you wrote, and then we'll get a little deeper into what makes Mr. Hercy tick. Does that sound cool with you?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. Stephen Hercy, a.k.a. Dr. Fitness USA, is an international body designer, founder of the International Institute of Body Design, certified by the IFBB, that's a big one, International Federation of Bodybuilding, that's been around for quite some time, and he holds the prestigious title of Professor de Culture Physique Weeder. I know that was a mouthful. You may know the name Weeder from days gone by from Ben, and there was another gentleman named Joe. They were very prominent in the bodybuilding circles for many, many years, decades. Dr. Fitness USA regularly appears as an empowerment guest speaker in recognition for his successful work as a pioneer in the field of pain management and postural realignment, and is also the creator of the proprietary body design formula strength training mentoring system that is taught worldwide. Dr. Fitness USA, again, that's this guy right here, Stephen Hercy. Dr. Fitness USA has worked with celebrities such as, check this out, Linda Gray, Sally Fields, Simon Crane, Billy West, and as well as medical doctors, chiropractors, alternative health professionals, and more. Young and older people of all walks of life travel worldwide to seek his unique services. Dr. Fitness USA's groundbreaking prescription strength training system assists men and women alike to become masters of their body independently of a personal trainer, and get this, to look and feel 15 years younger get 20 to 50% stronger, men and women, once again, and achieve, this is the kicker, a pain-free life. Woo! I got goosebumps reading that. Stephen, that is a phenomenal intro, and just from that alone, a lot of people will understand a little bit about you, your background. And what I wanted to do was dig a little deeper, if you don't mind, and that is to really find out what motivates you as the person. Like, you're in bed, you wake up, what motivates you to jump out of bed, to take on the day, to go serve more people, to help more entrepreneurs, business people, people that aren't in business, just people that are in pain. What motivates you to do that day in and day out?
Well, that I know that I build a better mousetrap than anybody else. I don't have to compete with Arnold Schwarzenegger types. I don't have to compete with personal trainers. I don't have to compete with CrossFit. I don't have to compete with anybody that's in the fitness world or what we call celebrity trainers, because I have a system that actually is revolutionary, that's produced results over 55 years beyond what was known as possible. And everything's been documented. It's not something that's pie in the sky. So when I'm looking at the physical body, I'm already looking at the solution. I'm looking at the sad part that the person wants to be healthier or physically fit, but they're nowhere close to where they could be if they actually had a blueprint or a prescription type of program that could address what's really going on with their body. So when somebody comes to see me, if they say how much, I know that's not a person for me. I'm looking for the person that actually says, based on your findings or what we talked about, is the condition of my body reversible? Because most of the time, the body just arrives where it's supposed to be, even with your personal trainer. What they're really, in the back of my mind anyways, is they're asking for the impossible. They want a new body. Okay, we can do that, but it's got to be a good fit. They've got to have a positive mindset and attitude, and they need to be willing to follow instruction and give up control to do it my way.
Yeah, and isn't that true? So much. I'm in the fitness industry as well, and it's all about the individual. So those of you that come to see Stephen after this show, all you need to do is follow his instructions. It's that simple. If you want to try to build a better mousetrap and invent it yourself, then you're not going to get the results that he can guarantee for you. It's that simple. I've dealt with this myself, and if you just follow his, well, you know, Stephen, I don't like that machine. I'd rather do this one because I'm comfortable with it. Well, that ain't gonna work then. Do what he tells you. Like it says, it's a prescription. If a doctor prescribes you a certain medication, and then you go to the pharmacist and says, you know, I don't really want that one. I want this other one. I think that will help better. Yeah, right. Would you do that? No. And the same is true with Stephen. Stephen's got a very precise system. And I am currently, pull the curtain back, I am currently experiencing it. I just started with Stephen recently. And I will tell everyone right here, right now, that just yesterday, I lifted more weight in one particular exercise than I ever had in my life ever before. And that's not an ego thing. It's not to say, look how strong Brian is now. All that is to tell you that what Stephen has is already working, and I've just begun to taste the fruits of this unbelievable system. And
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an amazing system already, and I barely scratched the surface. I cannot wait to experience the rest of it. And the reason I love what Stephen does, let me just say this, if I may, Stephen. One of the things I really love, is that it addresses pain. People that have joint pain. I have, in both knees, something called osteoarthritis, which is early onset version of full-blown arthritis. And there's pain involved. Well, now with working with Stephen, just in 4 workouts, I think so far, if that, I have no pain in my knees like I used to. It's continually getting less and less. Like right now, I would normally feel pain just sitting here existing. I don't feel a thing. It is phenomenal. I'm excited, and I can't wait. That's why one of the reasons I wanted Stephen on the show was to help spread the word of this, especially for those of us that are getting up there, 40, 50, 60, even beyond. And Steven's a physical specimen in his own right. And, you know, he's the product of the product. And I just love having him on here. So you talked briefly, Steven, about a positive mindset. And isn't it true that that is so crucial? I talked about the onset of the show, mindset, in not only achieving success, but then maintaining it. So when it comes to maintaining a positive, productive, and successful mindset, what is it you personally do, I think I have a guess, on a regular basis to sustain that?
This is what I tell men. It could be applied to women. You pick up your program or the map, you get in the car, and you get to the gym, and you don't think. See, people say, I have no time. Well, will I fit it in? You'd be surprised if you stop thinking and doing, you get in the car and you get to the gym, you'll find that you'll be at the gym and you'll still be thinking about all these problems, but you're already at the gym. So why wouldn't you exercise? Especially when the exercise, the system is different than personal training in the sense that the energy comes from inside out, and we teach people never to do anything that feels uncomfortable. And that's because of the sequencing of the way the program is put together or what's really going on with your body. And that I'm an ergonomic expert, so I can modify the machine. You know what that looks like? I'm a shoe salesman. I'm going to go get you the right shoe fit. I'm going to get you the right color, and you're going to be happy. So it's as simple as that. So people who say they have no time or they don't know what to do is because they're in la-la land. They're either doing the wrong exercise or they're wasting time.
Yeah, and you know, I think a part of that, there's two things that come to mind. One is lack of the, not ability, but the desire to prioritize it in their life. What I often tell people is put it in your calendar on the days you're going to go to the gym and treat it as if it was the most important appointment in your life, and you're not going to change that appointment for anything. And the other is a lack of degree of certainty that once they go to the gym, they're going to get the results they're looking for. And that is the secret ingredient that Steven, Dr. Fitness USA, provides to his clients, is that certainty. If you, we'll go to his website here in a moment. When you go to his website, look at the testimonials. There's no way you can fake this. It's the results are everywhere. And they're based on, you said, over 50 years. 50 years. This guy's been doing this for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. And he wouldn't still be doing it in this business if it wasn't working. I would just go out and say that. So this is a gentleman you want to follow. And really at any age, whether you have pain or not, why not get into a proper regimen of working out in a way that you're comfortable when you're working out rather than straining all of your joints, which I did for decades until I met Steven. And now I'm just I just lift, more weight than I've ever lifted in my life, and I'm not even straining that hard. It's amazing. I know the answer to the next question I'm about to ask you, Steven, but I want to hear it in your words. How important is physical fitness to you personally and your business and your personal life in general?
When you get up in the morning, you better check your body, because if you lose any function of your body, or as men get older, they lose half of it, you're not going to be too happy, because your body is the vehicle that drives you through life. Right? People don't know, but I'm going to be 71. That's astounding, because men don't have that vision how they got to where they are. So I don't remember, because I still think I'm a child in a sense. But working out for me is a very different experience today, and I promote it to men, because when men get in their 40s or 50s, they actually, not everybody, so we're not generalizing it. I can hear the audience out there, oh yeah, but the thing is that we produce less testosterone. So working out as we get older is actually a feminine experience. You see, when you comb your hair, you brush your teeth, that's feminine. When we work out when you're younger, that's ego. That's when our testosterone level is high. But when we get older, it's a feminine activity. So I don't do anything that feels uncomfortable. Now, when I say uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that it's not challenging. I always challenge my body. I never go in the gym and say, oh, I'm maintaining, or I'm not as strong as I used to be. So when I walk up to men, they say, oh, I'm not as strong as I used to be, so I'm taking less weight. I'm doing a lot of reps. And I say, oh, fool, why are you taking less reps? It's the opposite. You take less reps and more weight. So why would you do high reps? Are you running an endurance race? You have no idea how to train that's appropriate to where you're at in your life and how to get younger. The trick is to keep on using a program that continually taxes your strength for the level where you're at in life.
And it does it in such a way that, it doesn't strain your joints, it complements them. And I guess that's the best way I can explain it. You can correct me in any term I say that's incorrect, Stephen, because that's just my interpretation thus far. That it truly, I've worked out my entire life on and off, since I was early teens, literally like 14, 15 years old. I looked up to my brother who was big into bodybuilding. He wanted to be a bodybuilder. And so he was reading all the magazines. He was taking the massive tubs of protein powder and these big old liver pills. I called them pellets because they were massive. You could choke on them just trying to take them. And I just followed my brother. He was my inspiration. And it was amazing to go through that and all my life work out like bodybuilders would work out, not being a bodybuilder myself. So when Stephen's saying these things, I'm thinking, why was I doing that? I was never going to be a bodybuilder. I personally didn't aspire to be one. Yeah, I was young and had ego and wanted to look bigger, stronger, and more fit. But why did I go down that path when, it takes so much more to become a bodybuilder than just take a few supplements and work out every day and do things without any true direction. So that's what's beautiful about Stephen has. It even works for bodybuilders, by the way. Go look at his testimonial videos. You'll see some bodybuilders in there that have been his clients and are his clients. So it runs the gamut. And the thing is, he said it perfect, a prescription. It's actually tailor-made for you personally. Right? It's not just this one-size-fits-all workout regimen. Going through it myself right now, each and every workout, their adjustments are made. And I'm just blown away by it. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, I kind of digress. There are many people that have inspired me along life. Like I said, my brother was one. Because of my brother, I read Muscle Magazine. I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbo, his buddy, all those guys from way back when. And I really loved it. And that inspired me to look at these magazines, to read the articles, and to watch my brother. For you, Stephen, though, I'm curious, who to this date has been your greatest inspiration for what you're doing now?
There's been a lot of different people, but one that comes to my mind is, there's a couple of people. One is Billy Hill, who people don't recognize offhand, but he came along the same time as Steve Reeves, and he was an absolute beautiful man with a most electrifying personality. And people don't know, but he was actually sponsored by Ben Weider. And he used to tell me that he'd be hanging off a balcony doing chin-ups, and Ben Weider would come along and tell his parents that if he signed a contract with them, that he would make his son famous. And he did become famous. So that was one. And then when we go way, way back, was Jimmy Caruso, was the greatest black and white photographer of all time. And he was just a little, we won't swear, but he could do all the bodybuilding poses or make himself look like a bodybuilder, but he ran a very tight ship. And because of being a photographer, he had a professional eye. So he had a studio in Montreal, Canada, was built along the lines of a boxing studio. It was very old, but it had the right type of equipment that he had manufactured. And he didn't trust people, so he would hire his own employee to go to the foundry to make sure that they weighed the weights properly. But every bodybuilding champion passed through there, so you could see that the system that he was using was definitely working. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, all those pictures that you see of Arnold were all done by Jimmy Caruso, who never got credit for it except in the writing. I mean, he didn't get credit monetarily. He didn't have a lot of confidence in the outside world, but he was pretty well known. But I respected him as a person, in the bodybuilding arena or physical fitness. He had a system that was pretty spectacular. So if you say, who did you learn from, in a sense, and you said you learned from Bruce Lee, that'd be pretty credible. If I go way back when, I spent 5 years with Jimmy Caruso and understanding his system and where he was going at and how it created world champions and how Surgeon Brett Arnold Schwarzenegger would fly into Montreal, Canada in a little studio and be photographed by him. It was pretty amazing.
That is awesome. I've not heard that story before. And it's funny you talk about how he didn't get, the kind of credit he deserved.
Wait, there's another thing. I used to go in there, and when I went in there, he would say, if you train on my system, you would need a dog tag to recognize yourself. Because I used to hear, I trained in other gyms, I was wondering, who is this guy, Jimmy Caruso? But it actually was true. And it's kind of great because one day I come in and people look it up, there was Roy Callender. And he was able to take, who became a professional wrestler, but he took on Roy Callender, was able to bring him to Mr. Canada, Mr. Universe, and even into the Olympia, all inside of a year. And I would look at Roy Callender, I say, oh my God, where does this guy get this body from? I didn't know who I was really talking to. But it's kind of interesting when you look back that you read a lot of famous people or interesting people, and you're looking at them as if they're the next door bodybuilder. So these type of people, when they work out, are very inspiring because they have beautiful movement and the shape of their muscles are all actually very balanced.
And I've loved reading over the years of how different of those bodybuilders get the results that they had. Like Arnold, the most famous, of course. Before him, bodybuilding existed. It's just no one knew about it, and it kind of got popularized. I think when that movie came out, Pumping Iron, with Arnold in it, that really brought it to the forefront. But I loved reading about how, especially someone like Arnold, who we now know to be super successful in many areas of life, he's got mind-body business down pat. And that would be how he concentrated on every rep and how he would be smiling while working out. And others are like anguishing and growling, and they look at him and say, why are you smiling? And he just looks, he goes, because I know that I am going to win the next Mr. Universe. He's visualizing walking across the stage with a trophy. Just everything about the way he trained was so inspiring, and how, I hear people listening to music and podcasts and things while they're actually working out. Music might be okay, but podcasts where you need to concentrate on what they're saying, I say no, because I want to concentrate on the actual muscles as I'm working them. I want my mind on what I'm doing, not on something else. So anyway, I go off on a big tangent, but I just wanted to share that with you, Stephen, because we have a lot in common when it comes to our interest in the physical body.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So let me mention something to you. They say I'm the new Jack LaLanne, but I'm a little bit different. My passion or my want is to bring awareness worldwide that bodybuilding or strength training is the #1 anti-aging component today. Not yoga, not running, etc., etc. It's a whole new generation. So let's go backwards. If we go into a place like LA Fitness, you'll see women or men, let's say the women, well, you got men too, or young boys, and they're only like 14 or 15 years old. And when you look at them, those are the type of people or visual image that they would look like more like ballet or the little girl next door, but they're all pumping iron. They're training like no tomorrow because it's a very passionate way of taking care of your body. And the reason I mention LA Fitness is because the new LA Fitnesses have up-to-date equipment. So it's very user-friendly. There's not a girl that's 13 or 14 or 15 years old that's not leg pressing 250, 350. Some of them are pressing 400. And they're doing everything else. But because the equipment is functionally properly, they're having a good time with their body. So the energy, because they can lift higher weights or there's more awareness in the gym or better equipment, the energy of the gym is much higher today than former years, which means that it's a very, very positive environment to go to the gym. Now, when you talk about women, sometimes, not every time, and they say I'm doing yoga or I don't like working out. Well, I don't like going to a dentist either, right? They're not very well educated because in the former years when they're up to, you know, as they go 40, 50, they've let their body deteriorate to such a degree that they don't know what's possible to bring it back to life. Because the yoga uses different muscle fibers. It's not, and it has a different brain connection. So they're not using the tools that's available today. And we don't put down personal trainer studios, but it might not be that conducive to go to a personal training studio because the equipment today, most of them is not updated like an LA Fitness. So the workout's going to be very hard and tedious. And I want to look at bodybuilding or strength training as a beautiful expression or dance with your body. And also, you see, out there in the spiritual world, you have a lot of books, you have a lot of therapists, you've got a lot of chiropractors, you got this whole conglomerate of people. And especially for women, they're looking how to be spiritually balanced. Or you hear they have to have a positive mindset. Well, women's brains work a little bit different. When you're saying to a woman, I need you to have a more positive attitude, it sounds like a good idea, but that's a very guy expression because their emotions will rule it out if there's any interference in their family or their place of work where they feel uncomfortable. So what happens is the strength training allows them, on my program at least, to increase their strength 20 or 30%, which helps to steady their emotions. So that means you can talk to a woman and say, oh, well, you have to change your mindset and you need to go to a gym, but that doesn't mean anything to them because they're at a certain point when women are thinking too much 24 hours a day, or they have children, or they have a lot of stress in their life, what happens is they go up inside their intellectual mind and they live there and they kill their body, even if they exercise. So that's a very foreign term to understand. If they go to, if we take a woman and we can get her to the gym on my program, we can override her nervous system in as little as 20 minutes. Now, as soon as they reach a certain level of strength within those 20 minutes, they immediately have an aha moment and they go quiet. They go, oh, that feels so good because there's nobody yelling at them. There's nobody touching the weights. It's in the instruction and the ergonomic setup and the confidence we instill in the person that they can do it. So instead of taking 6 to 8 weeks of therapy, et cetera, because we're revolutionary in the industry in addiction and stress control, because I have the right format or how much weight they left to lose, well, they can make a lot of progress in their life. It changes them right across the board. So what I say to men out there is the greatest thing that can happen to a man is to see his significant other grow younger through the years. Or when your wife or significant other picks up her bag and says, I'm off to the gym. Okay. And I don't mean that couples that go to the gym do the same program. You ever see that? It's like asking a man to walk in a woman's high heels. Okay, so that's pretty illogical. You both have different nervous system, different intellect. The good thing is if you're a couple and you're at a gym and you see each other working out, that's bringing you together. But you don't have to do the same program. Women move faster. They can transmit thoughts and feelings between left and right side of the brain. They can dance around men. We're much more methodical thinkers, etc. We move slower. We ask women to repeat themselves 50 times because we don't really hear properly. And you're laughing, but you know, when I say to a woman, you know, instead of having overreact to something, just say yes and then have a nervous breakdown afterwards. So you want to know something? I practice that to myself because we men tend to go passive aggressive. So when Baptiste asked me something, I said, yes, 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 now do that. Yes, yeah. I just practice saying yes. It's kind of like a game or quite a bit of fun. Instead of saying that later, yes, yes. Except for cleaning up like the kitchen or the. What I'm saying by that is, you see the kitchen. It's in the kitchen, the living room, my desk. Everything is piled higher and higher and higher. You know what she did? She took everything. Every single piece of paper and dumped it in my office. I thought, oh my God, what happened? Well, that's where strength training comes in. Women learn to say no to loved ones. They learn to take action, and they don't give a damn about men's feelings. We're supposed to take care of women's feelings, or at least when they express them, we learn how to follow them. But women are not responsible for our feelings. But we will play a guilty trip on them because we have a feminine side. So in therapy, they always say, oh, get men to express their feelings. The more women, we don't have a problem expressing our feelings. We're in them naturally. Ask them what we think or how to solve a problem, we feel loved. And so all those therapies that people go to, unless they're actually going to a gym and grounding their body, they're living in their head. That's the point of the whole story. Those therapists don't say, oh, you need to do some strength training so it's trackable. They keep creating business by feeding them more and more data, and they still keep floating away like that fantasy in the sky. We tried to get women to be stronger because, you know why it's better for men? Because women, it's a man's world, but it's a woman's universe, and women are the grounding force. When they get grounded, we step in line. Because, you know, men teach, preach, and control. We try to get a better deal. And I try to get a deal all the time with Batista, but she don't get in the car door unless I open it. She don't throw out the garbage. She don't even do the dishes because she just did her nails done. I do the dishes. And in the morning when I get up, I ask her, can I offer you breakfast? I don't say, can I get you breakfast? Can I offer you breakfast? So we try to be kinder to women, but the women need to take more responsibility to take better care of themselves by going to the gym on the body design formula system, because a lot of women, they go to the gym and the weights that they're lifting are insignificant to cause change in their body. Yeah, they have to understand that they just don't understand that.
And one thing that I wanted to point out was your system is based on strength training. And I have actually come across women that when they hear that, they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to grow man muscles by lifting weights. And that's actually not going to happen, because to do that, you would have to supplement so incredibly much. If you've looked at a female bodybuilder, they didn't get that way just by lifting a lot of weights. Not at all. There's supplementation of many things, some legal, some not in some cases. But you have full control over your body, 100%. And what you're going to see is firmness. You might see some definition, some muscle come through, some fat go away. That's what, firmness. That's what most women aspire to. Men aspire to that as well. And you made a comment about a calming effect, when a woman goes through your program. And I can attest to that as a man. Personally, the very first workout I went through using your system, and I reported this to you, if you remember, Stephen, and that was, as I'm walking after my last set toward the locker room, I felt something I couldn't hardly describe, but it was a sense of calm. And it was also that my body felt in perfect alignment. And it was mind-blowing to me, being a gym rat most of my life, where anytime I worked out, I left. My skeletal system did not feel good because I just put it under a lot of stress. Well, after going through this program and walking to the locker room, I felt better than when I got there. And it lasted throughout the entire day. I went and I walked a long amount of many steps. This was during the Christmas shopping time. So I was in a mall and I walked a lot, and I felt great the entire rest of the day. So I want to point those two things out, that strength training is phenomenal, and it is the thing that women should concentrate on more than all of the other cardio, all of the other yoga. And the fact that you're going to feel better, not you won't feel drained. You won't feel tired. I felt energetic and ready to take on the rest of the day. I couldn't wait for the rest of it. So I just want to put that additional plug in there. By the way, just in case you're wondering, Steven didn't pay me a dime to say any of this. This is all coming right from here, right from the heart. It is 100% true blue as this blazer, what I'm saying to you right now. And, you know, both Steven and Batista have become friends of mine, and we're having a blast working together on various projects. And on that note, I wanted to switch gears just a little bit, Steven, and move it over into the life of what we are all, and that is the entrepreneur, which is a life that isn't for everybody. Let's face it. It has a whole different, it is a whole different life of its own. You know, a corporate employee, you typically are pretty much assured you're going to get a paycheck every week or 2 weeks. You pretty much have a good idea how much that's going to be. You basically do the work they tell you to do, and then you get paid for it. Entrepreneur, you flip that on its ear, and now you are doing only the work you are prescribing for yourself to build your own business. The paychecks are not guaranteed week to week, month to month. It's a completely different mindset that requires the skills and tenacity and the perseverance, like Steven and Batista, Dr. Fitness USA. So I wanted to ask you, and so that's the reality side of it, right? And there are great things about it as well. And that's what I wanted to ask you, Steven. What is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur?
Well, you actually have your own time to create. There's no limit on your creativity. Like when I'm developing a program, even with working your program, I'm getting ideas in the middle of my sleep. See, you're laughing, huh? You might not be able to see this, but I created a weight scale for you for your chest press. You see this, all these things here? There's about 12, 15 different lines here. And what that means is there's 12 or 15 different ways I can change your program. There's a weight scale or a rhythm of music that I can tell exactly where you're at and how to progress you in a very logical, systematic way that you're in control of your own body. The program, as you know, is sustainable, okay? You're not having a trainer dictate to you sets and reps, because today when you're working with a trainer, and don't get me wrong, I love trainers because we've developed programs that are taught in Belgium, Africa. They're online. We've expanded so people have more of an opportunity to have a piece of me, so to speak. But it's an amazing situation where we can use sometimes, if somebody wanted to work with me personally, because I'm not going to train anybody, I can actually show up with a trainer in the gym because I'm the engineer and I'm going to oversee that they don't mess up my program. But from time to time, I actually hire a subcontractor, which is a professional trainer. So that's how I can talk about the business. And so I can expand myself. So you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah. And, you know, like compare that to, say, a corporate job where you don't have much decision-making power. Of course, depending on your role within the organization, but typically you have a manager or boss or lead telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, at what time to do it, everything about your aspect of your life. And with an entrepreneur, if I heard you correctly, Steven, the main thing that you love about it is the ability to be creative, to create what you see is necessary when you see it, even including hiring out to help you to scale and take it farther. And so that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. And I really resonate with that because you have, I call it liberation. You're liberated to do what you want when you want. And yeah, you have to make money. So it's not like this free for all, you're on vacation forever. It's anything but a vacation. It's a phenomenal ride though, isn't it, Steven?
Absolutely. So, you know, what's interesting in the fitness business, you have different aspects. When you meet somebody and somebody says, "Oh, I'm a lawyer," they always ask you, "Well, what do you specialize in?" Or you go to a doctor, they say, "Well, are you an eye, nose, and throat man, or are you, they ask them. When you meet somebody, you say you're working with strength training or you're in fitness, wherever they're at, that means if they're doing swimming, they're doing yoga, CrossFit, personal training, they become the expert. Isn't that? They never ask a clarifying question. It's kind of interesting. They reverse the conversation, so they learn nothing. See, it's just an amazing phenomenon that they become the expert. So because I'm empowering people, try to own who you are and have a voice and ask lots of questions. Okay? And bottom line is get to the gym. I don't care any way, anyhow. You can call what they call it umber or lift.
Yes. And I love what you just said was ask a lot of questions. And that's another pattern of highly successful people. So now you're listening to it right now live by Stephen Hercy, Dr. Fitness USA, saying ask a lot of questions. And there's another way of framing that, and that is have a mind of curiosity. A mentor of mine physically met in person this gentleman named Richard Branson. Some of you may have heard of this guy, head of Virgin Atlantic, multi, I don't know how many millionaire, billionaire, and an amazing guy. And he met him in person. And what happened was Richard Branson walked up to him and started peppering him with questions. And all that my mentor could go through in his mind was, wait a minute, you're Richard Branson. I want to ask you a few questions. I want to know what's going on with you. And the thing is, Richard Branson is so genuinely curious. Again, another trait, another pattern of a highly successful individual. And what Stephen is saying is absolutely correct is, and ask a lot of questions and then hang in and actually not just receive the answer, but absorb it. And if it's an expert like Stephen, then put it into action. Take it another step beyond all that.
And stop saying, I love my trainer. Okay, the reason is, let's look at the positive. The trainer could be the general doctor. So why are you assuming that they're the surgeon? There's a difference between a general doctor and a surgeon. So if we say, I'm working with a trainer and then I'm an international body designer, what is the difference or the transition? What is it you're doing more than what I'm doing already? People don't ask those questions. I love my trainer. What does that mean? Are you in a relationship with your trainer? What does that mean? Probably whatever you're doing has nothing to do with your body. I've met people that are physically fit and they come in here and they're having a conversation with me and I say, take off your shirt. Oh my God, where has this guy been? He's been training with his trainer for 2 years and he doesn't have a shred of muscle. Or the opposite, they have too much muscle and they look like they fell into an acid bottle. You see, you have to, if you strengthen the body too much in wrong place, it could cause your body into a lot of pain. So stop loving your trainer. How about loving yourself and asking a lot of questions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they are not the surgeon. And today trainers need to make money. So what they do is they have a system of confusion. They mix a lot of things into the training, from jumping up and down and just being on a merry-go-round, so you sweat a lot and you think you're working out. You have to stay focused. Stephen Hercy, when I get in the car, I don't listen to the radio, I don't do anything. What I do is I go to the gym and stay focused.
There, you heard it.
No texting, no all these things that people do. Stay, because it's your time. And if you love yourself a lot, you'll stay with yourself and not have outside distractions. And remember, if your mind can conceive it, Dr. Fitness can help you achieve it.
I love that.
You have to have somebody that comes from a loving place. I'm passionate about what I do, so I make time for people. I like people, they say I have no time. Well, you're talking to somebody that's very, very busy, but I have time. What's that all about? What do you mean you don't have time?
Yep.
It means you're not taking care of yourself.
We all have the same 24 hours a day. It's a choice. It just comes down to a choice. We all have time. It's about what do you put as a priority in your life. And I love what you just said, though, about making that time for, what a perfect way to frame going to the gym. And that is, make it you time. Make it, self-reflective time. In between sets and you're recovering, there's time to sit there and reflect. And I do this, when you said that, it made me think about what I'm doing, especially in between sets. During the set, I'm concentrated on what I'm working on, but in between, I'm trying to stay in the groove, in the flow, in the zone, right, and of what I'm trying to achieve, and not get too distracted. Gyms have televisions and things flashing all over the place, and I just keep my head down and just say, look, man, this is the time. It's an hour, if that. Spend the time to rejuvenate you. I love that, Stephen, because that right there could be reason enough for many people to go to the gym if they just reframe it and think of it as me time, rather than, like you said, all the distractions and falling prey to all of those. So love it. My gosh. Oh my goodness. You won't believe this, Stephen. We're 4 minutes out from the end already. Oh. Happens every single time. And there's one huge question I wanted to ask you. I asked this of every entrepreneur. Batista, your wife, who was on the show not long ago, was asked the same question. I hope she didn't give up the secret what it was. But what I want to do is ask you one final question that I think it's kind of heavy hitting. It's deep, and it's really cool because each individual I talk to and ask the same question, well, they answer in different ways. And before I do that, though, I wanted to remind everyone that they can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star resort in Mexico. And the way to do that is look at the screen right now. And if you're watching, if you're listening, just write this down. If you're driving, stop, pull over and write this down. You can do it one of two ways. You can go to the website that's on your screen. That's reachyourpeakllc.com/vacation. That's reachyourpeakllc.com/vacation. Or text the word peak. That's PEAK to the number 661-535-1624. Again, if it's easier, do it on your mobile phone. Text the word PEAK, P-E-A-K, to 661-535-1624. This is all sponsored by, and the trip provided by, powertexting.com, a phenomenal company by two wonderful friends of mine, Jason Nast and his wonderful partner Rhonda, and they do a phenomenal job. And we use this very system ourselves here at Reach Your Peak. In fact, both of those methods that you enter, will be going through their very system to enter. So go ahead and do that right now, and then we're going to come back and ask Stephen Hercy, the one, the only, Dr. Fitness USA, this very important question. And Stephen, I don't want to get you too worried. I can see you sweating like crazy. I'm kidding, of course. And that is, here's the cool thing about this question, Stephen, and that is, there is no such thing as a wrong answer. None. It doesn't exist. And it's just the opposite, actually. There is only one correct answer, and that answer is yours. So that takes all the weight and pressure off, and you can take a moment to think about the answer after I ask it, to see what really fits best for you. And your subconscious will provide you the best answer because it's yours. Only you own it. And it's a really cool thing. So are you ready?
Well, hold on there. Did you read a good book?
We'll get there. It's coming. It's coming.
This is not a commercial. This is, I want to know if you read a good book lately.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's me, Dr. Fitness USA. Can you see that? I do that in an elevator. You're laughing, but I'm standing in an elevator and I'm saying, did you read a good book? And they go, it takes them a while before they realize it's me. You have to have a little bit of humor here.
Okay.
What's the question?
And we'll hit the book in just a moment. We'll hit that a little bit more with more emphasis. So let's dial it in, get centered, because I want to really get the essence of you on this answer. So Stephen Hercy, here it is. How do you define success?
You know what's amazing? Batista asked me that same question, and I gave her the same answer she gave you. You learn to get up after you fall down every single time, because life is like that. There's ups and downs, and you will get knocked down, but the thing is to keep going under all situations, because you know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because tomorrow morning, today might not be so good, but tomorrow morning you might want to get up because it's going to be a better day and you don't want to miss it.
With passion, with power. I love it. Learn to get up after you fall down under all situations. That's almost the moniker of an entrepreneur, isn't it? And that's what makes people like you tick. That's you to your core, is like, just keep getting up no matter what. Keep getting up under all situations. It's like falling off a horse. Get back up on it. Don't give up ever, ever, ever. Great, great message. Thank you for that. And yes, we want to also provide you with another gift that Stephen has already kind of let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. And I'll bring that up on the screen in just a moment. There we have it. So we're going to bring it over and let you, Stephen, talk about this phenomenal resource that you're giving away as a free gift to our viewers.
It's my original book, and I suggest that one reads it. And you just have to subscribe. It's absolutely free. It's for sale, but actually, because I'm on this mind-boggling Reach Your Peak show, and in respect to Brian Kelly, I've decided to make this book as a gift to your audience. So all you have to do is subscribe or put in some information, and the book is absolutely free. No strings attached.
Wow. Let me bring that back. I was putting it up on Facebook. So it's called Posture for Power. So allow me to give them the full web address so they can go grab that, Stephen. I also put it in Facebook live in the comments section. For those of you that might not be watching that at this moment, just go to my personal profile, search for Stephen Hercy in my timeline, and you will see the comment in there. Or just go straight to this website. It's Dr., that's DR, not the full word, DR, fitnessusa.com/posture, the number 4, so posture 4, and then power dash gift. It's a lot. Here, we'll do it one more time. So it's drfitnessusa.com. So it's drfitnessusa.com/posture 4, the number 4, power hyphen or dash gift, GIFT. And I want to thank you for that, Stephen. That's an amazing gift. Writing the book is no small task, as I know personally, as I am in the process of doing that myself. And so greatly appreciate that. So go pick that up, subscribe, click on the button that you saw on the website, and grab your copy of the book. It's a gift by Dr. Fitness USA, this amazing guy right here. We love him. We love him. Well, you know what, Stephen? I hate to say it, but that's about all the time we have. And what I wanted to do first is give folks a great way to connect with you. And there's a couple ways, and you provided one for me, which is fantastic to tell everyone. And that's the same website. It's drfitnessusa.com/contact. Contact. And you want to go there to get with Stephen and Batista both. Let me see. I'll bring it up here real quick. It's coming up. There we go. And so here you can connect with them and choose one of these sessions. Which one of those would be the best for them, Stephen?
Well, it's a 30-minute call, and it's...
okay, so the discovery session?
Yeah, it's a discovery session. We get to know each other. There's no sales pitch, but... in a conversation, just like I had with yourself, you explained what you were doing in your training, and I kind of said, well, you're kind of flying upside down by the seat of your pants. Do you really want to continue doing it that way? And I got like that, because you're a smart man, so you had this aha moment, and you decided to ask me some clarifying questions. And in those questions, we bonded. And you were what's interesting is world champions, Mr. Olympians and things like that, they actually have no problem being told what to do or having a mentor. But the little guy or the little woman, they have a hard time being open to being mentoring or understanding, especially for men, that as they go along life, they actually need a mentor so that they can be younger through the years. Because whatever they're doing isn't really working for them in the gym, especially when I go there. I stare at men. I'm hoping they're going to ask a question, but they don't. And I'm saying, my God, why would you want to be in pain that way?
And a lot of it is just people are unaware. They're unaware that there is an alternative. I was one of those people. And then when we started talking and you were explaining your system, my curiosity went through the roof. I had to know and experience this system some way, somehow. Another way to connect with Stephen real quick is his Facebook profile. This is what you'll look for. Search for Stephen Hercy on Facebook and just look for that profile picture and that muscular body in the main picture above. And message him. Reach out to him directly and he will get back to you because he's a man who loves serving. He's a man who loves helping people to correct their body, to get rid of pain, to live the best years of their life that when they thought that they were just doing nothing but going downhill. That's what I see in what you do, Stephen, is you're literally a lifesaver in a way of lifestyle, right? You're changing the way people live for the better, pain-free, stronger, muscular, fit, feeling better, more energy. The list goes on and on, so definitely connect with Stephen. Stephen, thank you so much once again for taking the time, for being on this show. I cannot thank you enough for the value you've brought to the listeners, and I look forward to working with you more in the future and seeing you again very, very soon, my brother.
Thank you.
All right, until next week and next show, we will see you again on the next edition of the Mind, Body, Business Show. Until then, good night, everybody. Be blessed.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind, Body, Business Show with Brian Kelly.